Feature Friday.
The freshest. Right, so next we have Dhee featuring Arivu, and they're doing, this is like a more commercial hip-hop approach to music in India, and this is their music video for Enjaami.
Would it be Enjaami?
I think
Enjaami or Enjaami?
I think it's Enjaami because they pronounce Arman Malik.
Right.
Yeah, so I think so. From what I read in the comments, maybe I'm making it up, but yeah,
let's have a look at this.
Let's have a little look. So this is like a more commercial take of hip hop. I read in the comments. Studio Mocha. Cool.
Bloody hell.
Nice. Nails for days. That is so nice. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god, vibes.
It's like dance hall.
It is like.
Okay.
How freaking fire is that video though?
What the fuck, dude?
You know who would make a fantastic collaboration with her? Casey Tandinga.
Oh,
my
yes.
god.
Actually, that's a shout.
From the Philippines. Oh my god, that would make such a cool collab.
I think also Baby from Korea.
Cool. Oh yeah.
Weird would be weird.
It would be so weird.
Yeah. Who else would do a good collaboration with? I think that would be Dhee, right? I don't know.
It's a good track though.
Interesting. I think
the
she'll
music
do really
video
well. You know
is
what?
So cool.
I think she'll do really well in the grime scene here.
I think so too.
Because they sort of, these men like to talk like that. And they sort of, they rap. And they're
And
good
she
rappers.
would be such a juxtaposition of the aesthetic itself.
Well, it's that's why you see a lot of Afrobeat singers do really well in collaborations with a grime London artist.
I agree. I think it would be a nice dynamic to
it's
the
a brilliant
sound.
dynamic. It's a brilliant dynamic. I think this will
She
really
has
well.
such a good edge though. Like it's twangy and it's ringy, but it's yet very edgy.
Yeah.
And it's really
Very
trendy
accessible
too.
though, as well.
Yeah, it's so trendy. I love that. I love the tribal feel to it all. I love that. Oh my god, it's just brilliant
This is what I love.
directing in the music video. It's fantastic visuals.
This is what I love. True, unique, new sounds and concepts that I would have never been able to discover if it wasn't thanks to you guys and the podcast. So, fucking on job, mate.
It is insane. Like the visual aspect of it is so
Insane.
captivating. I mean, look at that. How freaking sick.
And vocally. What the
That is so freaking cool. Ooh. So Enjaami means deer. Enjaami.
Ah,
Enjaami means deer.
dear.
Yeah.
Oh no, they say elephants. Go on. Just ride on elephants.
That is so freaking cool, man. Oh, imagine getting down to this on the club, man. Imagine getting down to this
I don't
on the
have to.
club.
What a vibe! Wow, he's a tall
Oh my god, that is so cool.
El Residente.
Oh, Efra, you called it. It would be so good.
If you like Spanish rap, I mean, to me, he is the best rapper and storyteller, purist that has come out of South America. Yeah. René and Perez. I never remember, and he is like, I listen to him basically every day, and I never remember
his surname.
He's El
Residente.
René. Yeah, of course, Perez. It's because we have a friend who also is called René, and then his surname is different. But yeah, to me, he's arguably the best rapper, that, at least in my opinion. But if you like Spanish rap or South American rap, I don't know how big reggaeton is in like India.
Oh yeah, that's a great point.
I'm sure people that are from South America watching right now, they probably will be like, yeah, I see where you're coming from. But if you're not from or not very familiar with the South American music industry, search him up, El Residente, and just listen to any of his songs. He got. And then imagine kind of like a Dhee or Arivu collaboration. I don't, he's kind of taking things a bit slow at the moment because of his sort of family and stuff like that. But I'm sure if he's approached, he would, because he loves sounds. Different.
Yeah, I think that's some of the things that
I'm saying. I know him. I don't know him.
Well, based on his discography and the content that we've consumed from him.
It's very famous too.
I love the tribal feel to it. It's a really interesting beat production too, because it's tribal,
brilliant, I love
strong, but it's not the commercial sound that you are expecting.
But it maintains a
commercial
modern commercial
hip hop twangs,
yeah.
And it's interesting too, though, because the chorus is not melodic; it's a chant. You're chanting. And
I usually don't like those type of songs.
And it's such a haunting environment to it all. It creates this like, wow, you're
jungle.
You're part of this like magical, I don't know, ground. Yeah, you're experiencing something new. It's really awesomeness.
Who's talking about the locals?
Woo! Love that.
Seeing the classical influences.
Gorgeousness. You see, it's a chant.
Well, it's meant to be disruptive. Enjaami. Body.
Ooh,
Bloody
oh my god. That is fantastic.
I want to listen to that percussive section again. But this is such a cool take, because you look at the sort of, it's meant to be tribal, sort of retrieved out of sort of the city, out of what we know as humanity. But interestingly enough, you still see electricity poles in the back. So it's like this, you're in this little safe haven.
Yeah.
Where those things don't exist, but what you get is the ground and bare feet and connection with nature.
Back to the soil. Going back to your roots.
That's a great take.
It's a great. I would love to know what part of India they're from, because that would also dictate. It would also dictate. It would also dictate a lot of the influences that we're hearing.
Yeah.
It could be very folkloric, very native to the area. The sounds that we're hearing, the influences, the chants. Well, that's the inclination I'm leaning towards.
I would agree, right? I don't know what part of India it would be.
Because it also feels like a pride to the land, like a tribute to the land, type of like going back to the soil, going back to the roots. And I'm not from there, but I get
you feel proud.
I feel proud. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really great track.
Right here.
Yeah, I love their aesthetic. It's so freaking good. That is freaking brilliant.
It's good ending there, because she.
It's a hats off to your elders, to your roots, to your generation.
The ones that came before us.
That's right.
Right, because the ones that came before us, thanks to them, is the way we live, the way we are now. And it's very interesting, right? Like there's this. I think it was Joe Rogan who said that. I don't think it was originally him, but I really like that sentence that he said. He said, hard men make easy times make weak men.
Okay.
Weak men create hard times.
Oh, that's great.
So in this case, you know, our ancestors that probably had to go through way more bigger shit than we did.
Indeed.
You know, because it is a difficult. I mean, it's not like this world at the moment in the last 10 years have gone through ease, but it certainly.
Well, the difficulties that
are different.
Yeah, the last 2 generations before us had to go through, the challenges that they had to go through were completely different to ours, and we have solved those problems that were exposed then.
And I mean, ironically enough, if it wasn't for this sort of pandemic that happened, right, it has been it hadn't been an easy 10, 20 years, but it had definitely been an easier 20 years for the majority of people in the world, given the technological advancements that a lot of hard people have put in work for. And
that's right.
It certainly hasn't been easy. I mean, that's also subjective, but it's always very interesting to me that like
because
looking back to our ancestors that had to go through difficult times. I don't want to say this story again, but I said it in another podcast. It's like I went to this museum with my father where he was talking about like sailing, not sailing, like boats and in the 1700s and 1800s, and how this basically, thanks to them, trade is the way it is now, and thanks to all those people that basically just got lost in sea and tried and failed and paid with their life severe consequences, and didn't give up, and they always managed to find a way, and discovered land and opened up trade and opened up currencies. And thanks to these people that across the world, all over the world, didn't matter where they were from, they always found a way in the sea, through methods that they figured out in the moment. It could be the stars, it could be positioning of the sun, could be the waves, and it was ridiculous that our ancestors managed to basically do the impossible.
That's
and
right.
Thanks to that is the reason why we're here. And if you look at it from a bigger perspective, evolutionarily speaking, the reason that we're still here is just because our previous generations, hundreds of years ago,
Indeed.
always found a way.
It is true, and I find that it's honorable when you see the new generations, the new people, the new artists, give tip the hat to the older generations, like go back to their roots and exalt the great things that surround them, that they grew up with, and not to change but to exalt, to create this beautiful
highlight them.
Highlight of the great things that come from our roots.
In a time where maybe they could have been forgotten.
Absolutely. I find that a lot of, in this new day and generation where everything moves so fast, we often forget what it was like a few generations before us. And
completely different world. Dude.
Absolutely. And the things that they treasured, like our grandparents treasured, are completely different to the values that we treasure now.
Yeah.
So, and it's all to me, it's very artistic, and it fills me with pride to see new gen artists, captivate their pride to their land and their roots and where they come from, and exalt them in such a beautiful way.
It also allows other people to learn through them.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably a factor, a byproduct of also being proud of your roots, and then other people can learn from that, and also it can also encourage them to find other sources of inspiration and things like that. It's very
exciting though.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting process. Like I said throughout the video, there was a moment there where I felt elated, I felt proud, I felt overjoyed, and this is my first time even being exposed to this culture before,
It's truly human though. That's what it feels like.
It is, and it's all the praise and all the great words of admiration to the visual director and
babe.
them as performers, and obviously the music production of it, because he did such a great job of captivating the human essence. It wasn't about, you know, everything that happened around it. It was about the human essence, and
It was about lights and fireworks. It was about people.
Right, and it made it in such a beautiful cinematic way.
It's wonderful.
Props
Anyways.
to everybody here.